Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an AM edition of Light Sports Ramble. I told you I'd toss this idea around, and so going to try it Monday morning. And as always, my pleasure to bring it to you on my way to work. I love the fall. It's not too warm. It's not too cold. It is a brisk fall morning in Pittsburgh, and I love it. You know, it's not too cold where you have to wear a jacket, not too warm where you're going to sweat, just comfortable weather. And the scenery is just beautiful, to be honest. I love the changing of the leaves. And for sports fans, the fall has to be great. Pretty much everything is going on. Whatever you like is going on. You could sit in front of the TV all weekend and find something to watch. And I did that yesterday. I mean, you got football, baseball. Saturday, you got college football. So much stuff going on. And so, what I want to do this morning, as I was laying in bed last night thinking, what am I going to do on the ramble in the morning? I mean, this is just crazy that something I do as a hobby is now filling my mind at night before the next morning. But I definitely want to talk about my upset picks. I was 2-2 again. It's about normal. I usually pick about half right, and I'm okay with that. And then I want to get into injuries. And there's 3 different angles, and I hope I can get it within the 15 minutes. And I'm going to touch on Clowney college injury. Then I'm going to talk about Gronkowski injury and his teammates. And then I'm going to talk about Schaub and the fans cheering. And I'm going to touch on 3 different levels of injuries and my perspective on it. But let's talk about the upset picks. Lions beat the Browns. I thought the Browns were going to win at home. I'm giving credit to the Lions. I didn't think they'd be as competitive as they are this year. Normally, they're not a good road team, and the chips were down. The Browns were taking care of business in the first half, and the Lions didn't give up. And that's a different mentality than they've ever had on the road before. And I know the Lions went to Green Bay, and Green Bay took care of them pretty easily. But right now, I think the Lions scare me more than the Bears in the division as a Packer fan. Because if they're going to start playing that good on the road, it means they're going to start winning some other games. My other upset pick was the Raiders over the Chiefs. And to be honest, I was watching this game, flipping back, because they hung in there. And I remember in the third quarter, the Chiefs were driving. There was a pass to Avery, and he fumbled, and the Raiders recovered. And I thought, here you go, Terrell Pryor. Here is a chance to elevate yourself as a good quarterback. Take your team down and score a touchdown right here and put your team in a position to win, and he didn't do it. So it still showed me Pryor has a long way to go to mature as a good quarterback. He had the opportunity to seize the moment, and he didn't do it. Now, I'm going to give the credit to the Chiefs' defense. Very good defense. Chiefs are a good team. I think they're going to be there. They're going to give the Broncos a good game. And I'm not going to touch on that in this ramble because, again, I have a lot to talk about. But I'm not impressed with the Denver Bronco defense. There's holes there. And maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow in the ramble. My other upset pick was the Patriots over the Saints. Yes, it was a toss-up game, 6 versus 2. But I think the biggest thing is I was just watching Twitter. I wasn't tweeting during football because I don't like to get off my TV. But I quickly looked and I saw a tweet. Retweet this if you think Tom Brady's going to bring the Patriots back and win. And I wanted to retweet it, but I just left it. And I was watching the responses. Overrated. Choke. Joke. I mean, really, people? Just because you hate Tom Brady, you tweet that. I mean, be real. Is there another quarterback that you would rather have when your team needs a touchdown at the end of the game that you'd put in there? Because to be honest right now, all my listeners know I am a diehard Packer fan. Die hard. But if there's a game on the line today, I may even want Tom Brady instead of Aaron Rodgers today. The way they're playing this year in a body of work. Because here's the thing that Brady did yesterday. I picked the Patriots because Amendola came back and I thought they'd establish the short passing game, move the chains. Then he went out with a head injury. And Tom Brady still took them down to win. The guy just wins at the end of the game. He knows how to win. I don't care if you like the guy or hate the guy. You've got to respect a guy that can get the ball in his hand and take his team down to win. I'm not a Patriot fan by any means. Not even a Tom Brady fan. But I got to give the guy props and I got to give the guy respect. He knows how to win at the end of the game. And he still has it. So he's not overrated. He's not a joke. The guy wins. They're not playing that great of football right now, and they're 5-1. That's all I'm going to say about that. My other upset pick, and oh my, now of course being in Pittsburgh, I'm hearing the talk show this morning. The Steelers over the Jets. They went to New York and they played with a mission. That mission was to crush the Jets. And I mentioned in the Ramble Friday, this is just what the Steelers needed to play against a mediocre offense. And that's what I saw Sunday. Flipping back and forth, the Steelers finally got their first turnover. Geno Smith made some rookie mistakes. And I watched that defense gain confidence as the game went on. Now, I'm not saying by any means they're back to their old form. There's no way I'm saying that. They beat an average to mediocre team. And that's okay. You need those wins. It was a road win, a good win, and it'll give them some confidence because they've got a huge game this week against the Ravens. But good for the Steelers. And I heard this morning, yes, you're back in the mix. The Bengals are only 4-2. You're 1-4. So yes, you're back in the mix. Only 2 games back in the loss column. So seize the moment if you're going to do it. And it's funny how you go from hating your beloved Steelers to now cheering that, hey, we're right back in it. I'm not going to get on that. Because that's going to lead me to the second half of the Ramble today. And it's injuries. Sports injuries. And I'm going to start with Clowney. The guy gets hurt, opts to sit out. Okay, I was a college athlete before. And I felt a commitment to my team that if I could play, I would endure the pain to play. Just for example, I dislocated my shoulder in preseason. It was wet out, I slipped, I put my arm down to brace my fall, put my hand down, and my shoulder popped out to the front. Hurt like hell. I've never endured so much pain in my life. I tore my ACL, I broke a vein in my leg, I've cracked bones in my foot, but a dislocated shoulder killed me. They had to take me to the hospital and put it back into place. And it hurt. Well, guess what? When you dislocate a shoulder, it is apt to be dislocated again. Guess what? A week later, in the game, I got tackled, fell on the shoulder, it popped out backwards. Dislocated it again. Ended up dislocating it 6 times. Went to the doctor, actually the Brewers orthopedic at the time, because I played in Wisconsin. He lifted up my shoulder, and I'm not going to use the explicit that he used, but a doctor basically said, your shoulder is effed. You need surgery next week. I still had half the year to go, and I'd already redshirted my freshman year. If I had surgery, I would lose my junior year. I opted not to. I taped that sucker up, and I played. I played with one arm. But before I did that, I asked a question. Will I cause further damage? The doctor looked at me and said, no, it is already damaged as much as it can be. You can play if you can endure the pain. And it hurt, believe me. So, when I look at a college athlete, I feel there's a commitment to your team. But somebody at his level is also interviewing for a job in the NFL next year. Now, it's no doubt he's going to play in the NFL. He's going to play. But if he goes out and plays at 50%, he could hurt his draft status, and I understand that. But do I think he has a commitment to his team if he can play? Yes. But again, too, do we know all the ins and outs? Will he further injure himself? That's a question that has to be asked. This guy is playing for his future. And if he plays hurt, and this injury can cause further damage, he could shorten a career. So I am okay with him sitting out based on the facts of the injury. Even based on the facts that his draft status could drop. But I also feel that if he can play, you have a commitment to your team to play. Now, the Gronkowski thing, touch on it quickly. Apparently, doctors are saying he's not cleared to play, but his family said he wasn't going to play anyway. His teammates are alienated by it. Goes back to it. You have a loyalty to your team. If you just don't want to play, you don't want to play, then that's bullcrap. Have a passion to play. I don't know everything about it. I just saw it on Mike and Mike Quickly this morning. But from what I understand, the doctors didn't clear him to play. And the other thing is, keep your mouth shut. Keep that stuff behind closed doors. As they always say, keep it in the family. If the Patriots needed another distraction, I mean, come on now. But if there was an instance where he was cleared to play and he just didn't want to play because he didn't feel good, then discuss it with the doctor and tell them why you're afraid to play. Again, I could get into this. The doctors didn't want me to play with that shoulder, but I felt I could play. Had I not felt I could play and they said you can play, I would discuss my concerns about playing. It just doesn't feel right. I'm not 100%. Then talk to the coach. Instead, in today's social media, we blow things out of proportion. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I got about 2 minutes. Not even, maybe a minute. To really be disgusted with Houston fans. Because I don't care what type of person you are. I don't care how frustrated you are with your quarterback. You're cheering your guy when he gets hurt? That is just ridiculous. Why are you cheering for someone to get hurt? You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, would you want, if your son or daughter is playing high school athletics, would you want another parent to cheer that they got hurt if they're a good player? Or if your son's playing bad in high school football, you want the backup quarterback's dad to cheer that he gets hurt? Think about it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the guy's struggling, but you never want anybody to get hurt. That just disgusts me. It flat out disgusts me that somebody and fans cheer when somebody gets hurt. It's ridiculous. But with that said, folks, that is the AM Red Light Sports Ramble. Have a great day. I'll come at you tomorrow morning. Talk to you soon.